Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Babel on Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Lamed Tes, Daf 39 of Masechta Yoma. Daf 39, we begin the fourth perek of Masechta Yoma and we discuss the lots of the Kohen Gadol. How exactly did he draw the lots? We're going to see two different versions of how exactly that happened. We're going to see some interesting agadatas again, and then at the end we have another machlokas about exactly about the lots as well. So let us begin with the fourth perek of Masechta Yoma, Torah B'Kalfe. So he very quickly stuck his hands into the box, right? Of course, the lots, there would be two goats on Yom Kippur, and he would draw lots. One of them would be slaughtered as a korban in the Beis Hamikdash, and one of them would be thrown off of a cliff. Which one would you rather be? So he would draw lots, okay? So he says, Tarav B'Kalpi. He would take there would be this box, and as we learned, I think the other day, right? That there would be this box, and in the box there were these two lots. So he would quickly stick his hands into the box and pull out the lots so that he wouldn't have a chance to try to guess which one's which. Just put the hands in, take the lots out, and that's how he would do it. And then he would pull out two lots. Echad kosav olav l'Hashem, ve'echad kosav olav la'Azazel. One of the lots said to God, the other one says to Azazel. Asgan b'mino v'rosh besav mismolo. The deputy, the backup, the assistant, I don't know, the sgan. What do you want me to tell you? How do you define it? Diana, what does it say in the Koran? Upon him. So Asgan b'mino. So the sgan was to his right, Rosh Beisav Mismolo, and the head of the Beisav was to his left. Im shel shem Allah b'mino. If the lot that says to God came up in his right hand, Asgan omelo. So then the sgan says to him, the sgan who's standing to his right says to him, Ishi kohen gadol hagbea yimincha. Ishi kohen gadol was a way of honor, of respect. So say, Ishi kohen gadol, lift up your right hand. V'im shel shem ala b'smolo. If the lot that says shem, that says God's name, came up in the kohen gadol's left hand, Rosh Beisav omerlo, Ishi kohen gadol hagbea smolcha. So then the head of the Beisav, which was the Kohanim that were working in the Beis Hamikdash that day, would say to the Kohen Gadol, lift up your left hand, which was the hand that the lot of that says God's name to God was in. So if the lot that says God's name, well, not God's name necessarily, but says Lashem, came up in his right hand, so the skan says lift up your right hand. If it came up in his left hand, so then the Rosh Beisav says lift up your left hand. Nisanon al shnei seirim. He then takes each lot and puts it on each of the goats respectively. Ve'omer l'Hashem chatas, and then he says to God is a chatas. Rabbi Shmuel omer lo hayitzarich lomer chatas el la'Hashem. He says Rabbi Shmuel didn't have to say necessarily la'Hashem chatas, la'Hashem was enough. And then the Kohanim who are there respond, blessed is the honorable name of his kingship for all eternity. Lama li Tarav B'Kalfi frekti Gemara. How come he has to do the lots so quickly? Said he shouldn't have any time to try to figure out which lot was which. Rather, just very quick, in and out. Pick one of the lots, and that's what it's going to be. Rava said that the box was made out of wood, and it was just a regular box. It wasn't kadosh necessarily. It wasn't like a klei sharis or anything. And it was only large enough so that he could stick in his two hands, and no larger, just in, out, that's it. No. There's no thrills or no frills? I'm not sure. No frills, I feel like. Ravina says, look, I understand why the box would only be large enough that you can fit two hands in it, no larger. Said, you shouldn't have any movement to be able to move things around and figure out which lot is lot somehow. Which lot is which somehow. Why does it have to be an unholy box? Why can't we just make it holy? Well, in Cain, Havale klesharis shel eitz. Well, since the box was made out of wood, if you're makadesh the box, it'll be a klesharis of wood. Klesharis the eitz lo avdinan, and we don't do that. We don't make klesharis of wood. V'nayv the chesed, v'nayv the zov. So why don't you make it out of silver or out of gold? Well, Torah chasam amon Yisrael. The Torah takes very seriously the money of the people, of the nation, of Israel. We're not just going to spend their money frivolously on gold and silver boxes. A wooden box is good enough, that's fine. Masnizin Loki Aitana, our Mishnah who says that the Kohen Gadol picks up both of the, selects both of the lots himself, sticks both of his hands into the box and picks out both lots himself, is not like the following Mishnah. No, not like the following Brisa. No, it's not like the following Tana, who taught in the following Brisa. Alright. So Masnizin Loki Aitana, our Mishnah must not be like the following Tana. The Tanya is we learn in the Brisa. Rabbi Yehuda Omer says Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rabbi Eliezer, in the name of Rabbi Eliezer Asgan v'Kohen Gadol Machnisin Yadon b'Kalfi, that it wasn't only the Kohen Gadol who put his hands into the box, rather the Sgan and the Kohen Gadol both put their right hand into the box. In Bimino Shekohen Gadol Ola, if the Kohen Gadol pulled out the lot that says Lashem on it, Hasgan Omerlo Ishi Kohen Gadol Hagbea Yimincha. So then the Sgan who's standing next to him says, "Okay, Kohen Gadol, you picked the lot that says Lashem. Lift up your right hand." V'im b'mino shel Sgan Ola, and if the lot that says Lashem was selected by the Sgan, Rosh Beis of Omerlo the Kohen Gadol. So then the Rosh Beis of says to the Kohen Gadol, Daber mi'elecha, say what you have to say. Ayi la Hashem chatos. V'nei malei Sgan. Why does the Rosh Beis of have to say to the Kohen Gadol to say Daber mi'elecha? Why can't the Sgan who chose the lot that says la Hashem, why can't he tell the Kohen Gadol Daber mi'elecha? The Gemara answers, well, came to lo salik biyadei chol shadaite. Well, since the Kohen Gadol missed out on the opportunity to be able to pick the lot that says Lashem on Yom Kippur, he might feel a little bit bad, and therefore we don't want the Sgan to rub it in by saying, okay, loser, say Daber Milecha, right? Say Lashem Chatas, even though you didn't pick it, the one that says Lashem. So therefore, to kind of make it a little bit more sensitive, the Rosh Beis of says, okay, Kohen Gadol, say Lashem Chatas. As we're going to see also, it was like a big thing for the Kohen Gadol to be able to pick up, to choose the lot. And therefore, if he kind of didn't do that, if he missed the opportunity, if he didn't pick it up with his right hand, so then we don't want to rub it in, and therefore the Rosh Beis says to the Kohen Gadol, just say Lashem Chatas on the goat that is going to be the Korban Chatas for God. But my kamiflage, what's the machlokas? How come our Mishnah says that the Kohen Gadol sticks both of his hands into the box, whereas Rabbi Yehuda says that each, the Sgan and the Kohen Gadol each put their right hand into the box? Marsavi Yemina, the Sgan Adif, Mismoli, the Kohen Gadol. Well, the Rabbi Yehuda, his opinion is that the right hand of the Sgan is preferred over the left hand of the Kohen Gadol, whereas in our Mishnah it says it really doesn't matter, and therefore the Kohen Gadol could just put both of his hands into the box. Uman Haitana, the Palagale de Rabbi Yehuda, who is the Tana of our Mishnah who argues on Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Chanina Skana Kohanim, who the Tanya, as we learn in the price of Chanina Skana Kohanim, Omer, Lama Sgan Mimino, how come the Sgan is standing to the right of the Kohen Gadol, Shem Irabo Psul, that just in case the Kohen Gadol becomes pasul at the last minute, the Kohen Gadol nichnas Sgan u'mishamish tachtov, so then the Sgan will go and fill and take over the place of the Kohen Gadol. So we see in that brisa that in the event that the Kohen Gadol would become Tameh, and as we saw the other day, that one of the miracles of the Beis Hamikdash was that the Kohen Gadol never became Tameh, but Akopanim, if the Kohen Gadol were to become Tameh, so the Sgan would be there, and then he would be able to do it for him. So we see that the opinion of Chanina Skan Kohanim is that the Sgan, or hopefully not the Sgan, the Kohen Gadol, would just do it entirely himself, right? Just in case the Kohen Gadol become pasul, so the Sgan was there to do it himself, implying that the Kohen Gadol, as long as he didn't become pasul, he would do it himself. So we see that the Tana who argues in Rabbi Yehuda is Rabbi Chanina Skan Kohanim. Tana Rabbanon, the Rabbi Sora Rabbi Shana Shishim Shimon Atzadik, that for the 40 years that Shimon HaTzadik was the Kohen Gadol, Hayagoral Ole Biyamin the lot would always be chosen in the right hand of the Kohen Gadol. When Shimon HaTzadik was the Kohen Gadol, he would always choose the lot that says L'Hashem with his right hand. Mikan ve'elech paim ola b'yom paim ola b'smol. After Shimon HaTzadik, sometimes it would be chosen in the right hand, sometimes it would be chosen in the left hand. Vayelashon shel Zohoris Malbin, and they would tie some red wool they would attach some red wool to the horn of the goat that went la'azazel, and that red wool would always become white to symbolize that God has forgiven the Yidden. Mikan ve'elech paim malbin paim eno malbin. After Shimon HaTzadik, sometimes it would become white, sometimes it wouldn't become white. Near my Ravi Dolik, and during the times of when Shimon HaTzadik was a Kohen Gadol, so the Ner Maravi wasn't exactly the western candle, but it's referred to as the Ner Maravi. It was the last candle of the menorah that they would light when it came to. It was the first candle that they would light every night when they lit the menorah, and yet it would last longer than all of the others. Mikan ve'elech paim dolik paim kove. But after Shimon HaTzadik, sometimes it would remain lit longer, and sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes it would go out. And during the times of Shimon HaTzadik, when he was the Kohen Gadol, the fire on the Mizbeach would always be stark. The fire from God would always be stark on the Mizbeach. And there was no need for the Kohanim to ever have to bring more wood for the Mizbeach, i.e. they would set up the wood in the morning for the Atziyah Ma'aracha, which was one of the jobs that we learned that the Kohanim would have a lottery for. But then, that was it. There would just be a strong fire for the rest of the day. They didn't need to add any wood to the fire. Just that for the Korban Tamid Shel Bein HaRabayim, they would add an additional 2 blocks of wood, which was the Shnei Gzirei Eitzim, because that was a mitzvah. Even though they didn't need to, in terms of like having enough fire, they had enough fire. After Shimon HaTzadik, sometimes it would be a starker fire, and sometimes they would have to add wood. And sometimes they would just have to bring more and more wood throughout the day. And there was blessing in the Omer, in the Korban Omer that they would offer on Pesach, and the Shtei Lechem on Shavuos, and the Lechem Aponim that they would have every Shabbos. And any Kohen that would receive a Kezayis, he could eat that Kezayis and be mamish full. Some people, even the Kezayis was too much for them. But after Shimon HaTzadik, there was a curse in the Omer and the Shtei Lechem and the Lechem Aponim, and everybody would just get like the size of a bean. And some people wouldn't even be interested, they wouldn't even eat it. Some people would mamish just like steal other people's. There was a fellow that once a fellow who took his portion and also the other person's portion. And also Ben Chamson, they would call him the thief. Adiom also up until the day that he died. I talk of a friend, what do they call him? Chicken og. Yeah, I think one time he took too much chicken, so I think that they just always called him chicken og. So it sounds like they did something similar over here, that they just called him the thief for the rest because he stole an extra bean. Well, a bean size worth of, I guess, lechem aponim or something. Amar Rabba bar Rav Shila Maikra Elokai Palteni. What does it mean that God? What does it mean? To save me, I guess. Miad Rasha, from the hands of evil, mikaf me'avel v'chometz, from the hands of somebody who's crooked and thiefy, steely, robbery. I don't know. Rav Amar says, Rav Me'acha from here, Limdu Etev Dirshu Mishpat, learn very well, go after justice. Ishru Chamotz, Ashru Chamotz V'ata Ashru Chometz. All right. Strengthen the somebody who's stolen from, but no, don't steal. All right. Talking about the rabbis taught also that the year that Shimon HaTzadik died, Omar Loyim, he said to them, he was the Kohen Gadol, and he said to them, Bashana Zo, who makes? He said to them, look, I'm going to die this year. Amlu Minayin after you're dead. They said, how do you know that you're going to die this year? Omar Loyim, he said to them, B'chol Yoma Kippurim, Izdamli Zaken Echad Lavish Levanim V'atav Levanim. That Shimon HaTzadik says, look, I've been the Kohen Gadol for 40 years. Every year in Yom Kippur, there would be an elder who was wearing white, nichnas imi v'yatsa imi, and he would go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim with me, and he would leave with me. V'ayom nizdamen lizaken echad. And today, when I went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, there was an elder person, lavu shchorim v'atav shchorim, who was wearing all black, nichnas imi v'lo yatsa imi, and he went in with me and he didn't come out. And therefore, Shimon HaTzadik knew that was it. Then after Sukkot, he got sick. 7 days later, gestorben. And then at that point, his fellow Kohanim, they wouldn't say the Birkas Kohanim with the name of God, because they didn't feel that they were on the level. The rabbis taught that for 40 years before the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, for all the 40 years before the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, the lot on Yom Kippur would not come up in their right hand. And the red wool that was put on the horn of the goat that was thrown off the cliff would not become white. And the Ner Maravi wouldn't stay lit. And the doors of the Heichal would just open up on their own, as if to say, as if they were opening themselves up for enemies to come in. Until Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai got upset with the doors of the Heichal. Amar lo, Heichal, Heichal. He says, Heichal, Heichal, what are you making yourself all scared about? I understand that you're going to be destroyed. And Zechariah ben Ido already prophesied about you. Lebanon, a reference to Yerushalayim, to the Beis HaMikdash. Open up your gates, and fire will eat your cedars. Rabbi Yitzchak ben Tabloi, says Rabbi Yitzchak ben Tabloi, why is the Beis HaMikdash called Lebanon? Shemal ben Avonoseim she'isah, because it whitens the sins of the Yidden. Rav Zutra bar Tuvia Lamanikosh Mo Ya'ar, how come the Beis HaMikdash is called a forest? The Chsiv, the pasuk says, Beis Ya'ar Lebanon, the forest of Lebanon. Lomer l'cha teseriu ma'yar melavlev Beis HaMikdash melavlev, just like the forest brings forth fruit, also the Beis HaMikdash brings forth fruit. To Amar Rav Oshaya b'shal shabana Shlomo Beis HaMikdash, that at the time that Shlomo HaMelech built the Beis HaMikdash, notabo kol minei megadim shel zav, he put in all sorts of delicacies of gold. Vayumotziin peris bizmanein, and they would bear fruit at their proper time. V'chem charuach min hashev ezbayin, and when the wind would blow, hayunoshim perusein, they would drop their fruits. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Yirash kalavon imperio, that it will, I guess, shake like the Lebanon, its fruit. And the Kohanim would get parnasa from these golden fruit that would fall, and they would collect them. But when the idolaters went into the Heichal Yavshu, these fruits dried out, these fruit trees dried out. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Uferech Levanon Umlo, that the flower of the Lebanon is downtrodden. But in the future, the Eibishter is going to bring it back. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Parach tifrach v'sagel, that you will blossom and rejoice. Avgilas v'ronen, for the Levanu nitalna, that the honor of Lebanon will be given to it. Wow. Nisan al Shnei Asirim. So then the Mishnah says that he then took the two lots and he put them on the goats. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught Eser Payim Maski Kohen Gadol as Hashem bo bayom, that the Kohen Gadol mentions the name of God 10 times on Yom Kippur. Gimel b'vidur Rishon, 3 in the first vidur that he does. Ushlosha b'vidur Shnia, and 3 in the second vidur that he does. What's the second vidur that he does? Did we see 2 vidurs? I don't know. I feel like we only saw 1, but I guess apparently there was a second vidur. Yeah, I think on the cow he did a vidur for himself, and then he did a vidur for like the other Kohanim. So I guess each one had 3 names of God. And another, you would say God's name another 3 times on the I guess on the vidoy or whatever. Just you would say it in the context at least of the goat that was thrown off the cliff. And then also 1 in the context of these lots, right? As we said, LaHashem Chatos. And when he would say the name of God, it would be heard in Jericho. That from Jerusalem to Jericho was 10 parsas. And the pivot of the door of the Heichal was heard in 8 Tchum Shabbases. Well, Tchum Shabbos is 2,000 Amos, so I guess 16,000 Amos. The goats in Jericho would sneeze from the smell of the Ketores coming from Jerusalem. The women in Jericho did not need to put on perfume because there was the smells of the Ketores. A bride in Jerusalem would not have to put on perfume because there was just the smell of Ketores all the time, and it smelled so amazing all the time. Amr Eliezer ben Dilgoy, Izim ayu la'aba, that my father had goats, Bahari Michmar, by Misaches Meach Ketores, and they would sneeze from the smells of the Ketores. Wow. Amr B'chia bar Avin, Amr B'Yeshua ben Karcha Sachli Zakin Echad, that says of B'Yeshua ben Karcha that a certain elder said to me, Pamachas alachti l'Shilo. This elder says that one time he went to Shiloh, and I was able to smell the smell of Torres from the walls of where Shiloh once was. There was the Mishkan in Shiloh, and says this elder that once he went to Shiloh and he was able to smell remnants of Ketores from when the Mishkan was there. Wow. Rabbi Yanai, says Rabbi Yanai, Aliyah's Goro mitoch kalpi ma'akeves, says Rabbi Yanai that when it says that the Kohen would take the Goral, would take the lot from a box, that was important. Like he had to do that. He couldn't just walk up to the goats and say, you're going to be the one to God, and you're going to be the one that goes thrown off the cliff. You actually have to take the lot out of the box. But putting it on the goat, as we said, that then he takes the one for God and he puts it on the lot on that goat, and he takes the other one and puts it on the other goat, that you don't necessarily have to do. Rabbi Yochanan says that even lifting the lot out of the box is not ma'akev. If you don't do it, it's okay. So there's a machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. That according to Rabbi Yehuda, only the services that were done inside the Kodesh HaKodashim, those were mamash ma'akev, had to be done. But anything outside of that, if it didn't happen, I guess it was okay. Whereas Rabbi Nechemia says that no, anything, certainly what happened in the Kodesh HaKodashim, but even the avodas that had to be done in the Heichal or anywhere in the Azara, those were also me'akev. So says the Gemara, Aliba de Rabbi Yehuda. So according to Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, which is the Amar Dvar Manaisim v'Vigdei Lav Mibachutz, the activities that were done by the Kohen Gadol in the white garments outside of the Kodesh HaKodashim, lo me'akva, they're not ma'akev, they don't hold things up, and if you don't do them, the avoda is still kosher. So kuli amalo plige dulo ma'akvas, and everyone agrees that according to Rabbi Yehuda, if you didn't pull the lots out of the box, that would be okay. Ki plige alibu Rabbi Nechemia. The machlokas between Rabbi Yanai, who says that the Kohen Gadol has to pull the lots out of the box, and Rabbi Yochanan, who says that he doesn't, is according to Rabbi Nechemia's opinion, who says that anything that was done in the Kodesh HaKadoshim or outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim in the Big Day Lavan had to be done. My Manda Amr Ma'akva Rabbi Nechemia. So Rabbi Yanai, who says that the Kohen Gadol Mamish had to pull the lots out of the box, that's like Rabbi Nechemia, who says that anything inside or outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim has to be done. And according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says that he does not have to pull the lots out of the box, well, he'll say that, look, Rabbi Nechemia says that, sure, any avoda that's done, whether it's inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, whether outside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, is ma'akev, but pulling the lots out of the box isn't actually an avoda. Okay. Those who say, that according to Rabbi Nechemia, who says that any avoda, whether it's inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim or outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, is ma'akev, it has to be done. Well, then both Rabbi Yanai and Rabbi Yochanan agree that the Kohen Gadol, according to Rabbi Nechemia, would have to pull the lots out of the box. Where they argue according to Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, who says that only avodas in the Kodesh HaKadoshim are ma'akev, but outside the Kodesh HaKadoshim are not ma'akev. Manda Amr lo ma'akva Rabbi Yehuda. So Manda Amr, who says, so Rabbi Yochanan, who says that the Kohen Gadol does not have to pull the lot out of the box, so he says, like Rabbi Yehuda, that anything outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim isn't ma'akev. Manda Amr ma'akva. And according to Rabbi Yanai, he says that yes, the Kohen Gadol does have to pull the lots out of the box. Shani Yachad the Tana Bekra Asher Allah. He'll say that even though Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is that any avodah that was outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim was not ma'akev, nonetheless, when it comes to the lots, it said Asher Allah twice. Right? Bikra v'harin, it says Asher Allah v'agor la'Hashem v'asor chadis, and it says v'asor Asher Allah hagor la'azazel, etc. So because it says Allah, Aleh, it says Asher Allah twice, so that must mean that it's pretty serious and you got to do it, even according to Rabbi Yehuda. So that's how we would explain Rabbi Yanai like this. Well, that was Daf Lametes of Masechta Yoma. I hope you enjoyed it. We started the new perek, the fourth perek of Masechta Yoma, and we discussed the Kohen Gadol taking the lots very quickly out of the box and figuring out which goat was going to be La Hashem, which one was going to be La Azazel. We had a machlokas between Rabbi Chanina's Kana Kohanim and Rabbi Yehuda about how exactly this happened. According to Rabbi Chanina's Kana Kohanim, the Kohen Gadol would stick both hands into the box and pull out the lots. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the Kohen Gadol would stick his right hand into the box, and the Sgana Kohanim would stick his right hand in the box, and that's how they would choose the lots. We had some interesting Gemaras about Shimon HaTzadik. Shimon HaTzadik was the Kohen Gadol for 40 years. We actually saw in Daf Test some interesting numbers like that Shimon HaTzadik was the Kohen Gadol for 40 years. It also says over there that Yochanan Kohen Gadol was the Kohen Gadol for 80 years. Rabbi Shmuel ben Pabi, and some Taka say Rabbi Elazar ben Charsom. Oh no, Rabbi Shmuel ben Pabi was 10 years. Rabbi Elazar ben Charsom was 11 years. Very interesting. Anyways, so during the 40 years of Shimon HaTzadik, all these miracles happened, right? He always pulled out the lot in his right hand, etc. All sorts of things. But after his tenure, these things sometimes yes, sometimes no. We had a very interesting story that Shimon HaTzadik, he knew when his last year, when his last year arrived, because every year when he was Kohen Gadol, he was escorted into the Kodesh HaKodashim within the presence of an old man who was wearing white clothing, but on that final year, the old man was wearing black clothing, and he went in with him and he never left. And that's how he knew that he wasn't going to make it. We then saw at the end of the Daf Machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yanai says that the Kohen Gadol must actually pull the lots out of the box. Rabbi Yochanan says that he doesn't actually have to pull the lots out of the box. And we then tied that into a machlok. You can understand it through the lens of a machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. That Rabbi Yehuda says that only the avodas that were done in the Kodesh HaKodashim are actually ma'akiv, actually must be done, right? And if you don't do them, then you're not yotze the avodah. But anything outside the Kodesh HaKodashim, if you don't do them, they're not ma'akiv. Rabbi Nechemia says no, any avodah that happens on Yom Kippur in the Kodesh HaKodashim, or in the Heichal, or in the Azara, any of those places, they're all ma'akiv. So we can say that the machlokas is according to Rabbi Yehuda, that Rabbi Yochanan is gonna say like Rabbi Yehuda Kipshuto, that outside of the Kodesh HaKodashim, it's not ma'akiv. Whereas Rabbi Yanai would say yes, but because the pasuk says Asher Allah twice, so it reiterates to say that it's important and it is ma'akiv. Or you can understand it through the lens of Rabbi Nechemia, which is that any avodah that was done in the Kodesh HaKodashim or the Eichel or the Azara is ma'akiv. According to Rabbi Yanai, okay, so that's Rabbi Nechemia Kipshuto. According to Rabbi Yochanan, he would say yes, but that's only avodas. The lots aren't actually an avodah. Cheved, that was Daf Lamed Tes. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Cheers.